Welcome to Red Light Racing Series. We are live from Richmond. We are in the start of round number 2, race number 1 here from Richmond International Raceway. This is the B class car, the Xfinity Series, on track tonight. Of course, when I say that, the reason why I say that is it's pretty obvious you can see it, but with all the different cars that these guys run, I want to make sure everybody knows. Anyway, so a little bit about information about tonight. Tonight is B class car. Next week, Cup car from Auto Club Speedway. By the way, guys, you got to kind of excuse my voice. I lost it last night when I was pulling for the best team in the world, winning the Super Bowl. Anyway, so just try to ignore that, and we'll be good to go. Coming into tonight, the points a little bit different right now. Max Terriot sits on top of the board with 266, and honestly, with that, I think he's going to be pretty comfortable. Even trying to get out of this round. He comes in here with 2 wins on the season. Tim Blum, currently second with 245 after his win last week. And then Eric Johnson comes in here, third place right now on the standings with 244. This right here, by the way, I want to mention 10 rounds, or 10 drivers in this round. The cutoff right now is between, let me look, 8th and 9th is separated by 2 points. That is Andy Lee, DJ Anderson. I think DJ Anderson a big factor there. And then Richard Murdoch sitting at 204. So he's 2 points ahead of Andy Lee. I think Andy Lee could be safe knowing how he races. I think he should be safe, but there's always that, you know, out there. And honestly, even if you go and look at the points right now, I don't even think he's in here. So that's not good for him. But anyway, we'll get ready to go race. We've got about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left before qualifying. Right now, Sean Butler on top of the board with a 21.051. And then you got James Skelton sitting in second with a 21.01 or 100. I'm going to go ahead and get my picks to win this race. I think it is Sean Butler's night, honestly. I was sitting here watching him practice earlier. I've been here for about 45 minutes now. 45, 50 minutes, something like that. And I've been watching him. He is just so smooth when I was watching him. He's ran, I think, I don't know how many laps he's actually ran, like 70 laps or something, but it's way up there. Anyway, he's very good, very talented driver. I expect him to have a good night, walk out of here with the win. And honestly, I think it's kind of needed. He comes in here right now. Where is he? Third in points, I do believe. No, hold on. That was Eric Johnson. Sean Butler. I don't think he's actually in the chase. He is not. 15th right now, so he's not in the chase. But I do expect him to come in here and sweep this and walk out of here with the victory. You just never know, though. Things happen. This track very sensitive, especially turn 2. There's a look real fast at your weather. 78 degrees, 9, we'll call it 10-mile-an-hour wind speed. Everything else pretty calm. Of course, track facts, 0.72 miles, a little over a half a mile, 4 turns. Track temp, I mentioned 78 degrees. So we'll get ready to go racing here. We'll take another quick break. Qualifying about to get started here in about a minute, so we'll take a quick break. I got to go get something for my throat because it is killing me. And we'll be right back here from Richmond International Raceway. Qualifying, coming at you here in just a moment.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook, we are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero. Like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero. Just like in a dream, just like in a dream.
Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway. Qualifying underway here for this race. Got a special guest with me in the booth. You all probably don't really know him because he is new. He usually spots actually for his brother Kyle Souza, who's not in here tonight. His brother Jeff Souza is in here. Jeff, welcome to the booth, man. Look forward to having you, and should be a fun race.
Yeah, Adam, I think it's going to be a good one. Pretty slick track out there, it looks, from what I've seen in practice so far, and it should be interesting with the first round of the first race of the second round here.
Well, let me actually ask you on that question, man. You're sitting there talking about we're actually watching Sean Butler right now, the 88. You mentioned the second round. These drivers that are in the second round, how aggressive do you want to be, knowing that this round, of course, is only 2 races? How aggressive do you want to be, and can you even be aggressive knowing that there's a chance you could get eliminated?
Well, I think you have to be aggressive enough that you're going to be able to finish up there in the maybe top 6 or so, because there's 8 people in this round, so you want to be able to finish in the top 5. If you can finish there going to the next week, I think you should be pretty well off at least.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these guys, and I'm watching some guys that's not even in the playoff or the chase or whatever you want to call it. Right now I'm watching Devin Sanders. He just qualified 15th, well 16th now, so I'm sure he's looking for more. Is there a guy in this field that you could see possibly, you know, not really in the chase, but be able, one of these guys to be able to pick up their win here tonight?
Yeah, I'm watching some people there towards the back. From what we've seen in the past, I know people like Keith Haney. He's pretty fast usually. If he can keep the wheels on that thing, it's all about keeping the tires on this B car under you.
Yeah, I watched Keith Haney a little bit in practice. He's actually out there right now, and I want to be honest. I haven't seen Keith win a race since last season. Maybe I think it was last season at Daytona. But watching him at this track, it seems like he knows this track really well. And right now he's ninth place. But I do expect that to pick up. When I watched him in practice, I mean, his lap times was really consistent. That's about who I went with to get to victory, to be honest. His lap times was very consistent over the long run compared to some of the other guys that was falling off a little bit. I don't know how much tire wear is going to affect here. You're a spotter. You spot for your brother, as you mentioned, or as I mentioned when I came on. How much consideration do you, as a spotter, do you try to relay information about tire wear and stuff like that? Can that be a factor at this type of track, knowing it is a short track, but it is night time as well?
Well, got to look at how many laps in this race. We had a total of 175, which is a pretty long race for these B cars. That's much longer than the usual race they run here. And I feel like car-wise, if you can hold on to the tires, you might be able to make it 45 laps. But I think after that 35-40 lap range, you're going to see a lot of people dip off. And I would think you're going to fall off about at least a second and a half at about 40 laps. So
it's actually
I would
really
think
good.
You would have to pit within there. Once people start dipping off, you want to dip off right away with them.
That's actually a really good explanation, and you mentioned the possibility of 45 laps we can see on tires. I did get word that we'll see between 52 to 56 laps on fuel, so there's a good chance, of course, we'll probably see tires come into effect. People will want tires as quick as they can get them. These guys very clean. We both know that. You've spotted in here plenty of times. We know that these guys are very clean, so we're going to have long green flag runs, and that pit stop very crucial here because pit speed very slow. When you're spotting, like I keep mentioning, do you keep reminding your driver, which is your brother in that case, do you keep reminding him of pit road speed and how crucial pit road speed is? Because you don't want to go a lap or more than one lap down here, you know, because you're going to lose a couple laps on pit road under green. So do you keep reminding your brother under, you know, once you got to come down pit road for green flag pit stops, do you remind him of that pit road speed, and can that be a factor in tonight's race?
Well, you know, with this league, with the Red Light League, it's a lot of green flag racing, as you were saying earlier, and I think the big point of that is if you get caught speeding on pit road, if it's an exiting, you have to come back and take a penalty, and if it's an entering pit road or before your pit stall, it's still a 15-second penalty. So with how much green flag racing happens in this series, a penalty on pit road can be a very hard thing to come back from.
Right now, Sean Butler, I mentioned him earlier, on top of the board. He is actually not in the playoff, not in the chase. He's 15th in points. Sean Butler, always a big factor when it comes to these short tracks. He's very fast. He's a factor pretty much anywhere we go. James Heater, I don't think is much of a surprise to see him up there. I know besides your brother, who have you spotted a lot this season? Who have you been most impressed with this season since it is, it's not a new season now because we're in the playoffs, but who have you been most impressed with so far this season?
Well, I've really been impressed with how Tim Blum has come through with his first official season here for the Red Light Racing League. So I feel like he's really done very well so far.
I think he's definitely big, definitely easily top 3 biggest surprise. I think Max Terriot I'm really surprised with, and I don't think I'm really surprised with how he's ran. But I'm surprised by the wins and where he's finished almost every week. It's just consistent, finishes inside the top 5, and I think that's a big thing. What challenges do you have when you're spotting this track? Is there a certain set of challenges that you face as a spotter or a driver whenever you're racing this track?
Well, it's like Richmond. You have a lot of long, winding corner getting into the corner, and then you also have a hard exit on both Route 2 and 4. So it can be tough to come off of that corner, getting hard in the gas, especially if you have someone on your inside or your outside. So you have to try to pay attention to the people around you while also paying attention to that wall, because if you get up into it and you have people right around you, it's really easy to collect a few cars in an accident. Yeah,
I was going to mention that, especially coming off of Turn 2. Turn 4 might not be as bad since there's a little bit more room if you spin to the inside or something, but Turn 2, I know if you get into the wall, there's not really a lot of room to make a mistake on the exit. And we're probably going to see that tonight. I mean, I do expect cautions. Maybe every time I say that, we always go green almost the entire time, so I go figure. These guys are honestly just that good. It's kind of weird to say that, but with the amount of drivers that's in here, I mean, right now we got, I think, 19 drivers actually have put down a lap in qualifying. It's the amount of skill level that's in this league is by far one of the best leagues that you could possibly race in. So if anybody is out there looking for a league, get in contact with Adam Maddox, and they got their website. It's in the description, redlightleague.com. Get in and race with these guys. This is a scrambler series, and if you don't understand what that means, it's really simple. They run different cars. It's not one base car. It mixes it up. It gives everybody a skill level. Like, you might not be good at Cup Car, but you're great at trucks or Xfinity. So come in here and try to race with these guys. This season, not much longer. We got 4 races after this. Auto Club, New Hampshire, Martinsville, and Michigan. And real fast, Michigan is the big one because that's the championship race. A lot of schedules, when they come out, never has Michigan as the championship race. So I really do appreciate the types of schedule changes that the Adamans and Adam Maddox, Joshua Buckley. I keep saying Adam Maddox, but Joshua Buckley puts into the series itself. They do a great job. So, yeah, if anybody's out there looking, get in contact Joshua Buckley. And he's probably on the stream yelling at me. My name's not Maddox. But get in contact, come in here, race with these guys. It is a blast watching them race. And if you all have seen any other previous broadcasts, you'll know how clean these guys really are. So we got about 20 seconds or so left in qualifying. It does possibly look like Sean Butler is going to get the pole. DJ Anderson on pace right now, sitting at 8th as he goes through turn 3 and 4. He will have time to finish this lap. And we'll see if anybody else gets to finish their lap or not. I know there's another car in front of him that just crossed the line. But it looks like he is going to stay in 8th place. Max Terriot, does he get to actually finish? I think he does. So he's going to cross the start-finish line here in just a moment. Currently in 3rd place. We'll see how he does as he works out of turn 4. Across the line, he puts down a 21.097, so it does not improve. I think that's it. So Sean Butler going to be your pole sitter tonight. As we get ready to grid, we'll take a look here at your starting lineups. Sean Butler on the pole alongside James Heater, row number 2. As soon as I click my, there we go. Row number 2, we got, who is it? Max Terriot, James Skelton, the Chevrolet and the Toyota. Row number 3, we got Tim Blum, Keith Haney. In row number 4, we got Eric Johnson, DJ Anderson, Chevrolet and a Toyota. Another Chevrolet and Toyota in row number 5, Jason Wells, Joshua Buckley. Not a bad run for the 2-car. He's been struggling a little bit this year. We'll see how he does tonight. Leo Bourdage and Richard Murdoch in row 6. Row number 7, we got William Long and Brandon Minto in the 920 Philadelphia Eagles. Go Eagles. Row number 8, we got Devin Sanders and Bruce Potter starting in row number 9. We got the Toyota and Chevrolet of Kevin O'Brien and Jeff Wepker. In row 10, the 2 Toyotas of James Haney, Jack Walls, and I believe that is it. So, cars are gritting up as you see on the front stretch. Let's pull in Sean Butler. We'll talk to him as well. Hey, Sean, you got me?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, man, congratulations on a big pole. You've been fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying so far. How's the car feeling out there for you right now?
It drives pretty good, actually. It seems like it's just like anything else. It tightens up on the long run, but it's a pretty good driving car. So we'll see what it does and how everyone handles it, and if we can keep it green, it'd be awesome.
We know we're going to get long green flag runs eventually. These guys are too good not to. Is that going to be the biggest issue for you? Think possibly. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen as far as, cautions and stuff like that, but will it be the tire fall off and the tightness of the car? Is that going to be one of the biggest issues you think that you're going to face?
Oh yeah, it's going to be managing it and trying to make it last throughout the whole run. You can't just go out there and burn them up the first 5-10 laps. Trying to lead a bunch of laps, you got to get and just settle in and try not to race people and just race the track.
All right, man. Go out there and do what you do. You've been fast so far all night, and we'll be up here watching. Good luck, and hope to talk to you here in a little bit.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy. Jeff, let me ask you, who you picking to win this race?
Well, I think that Max Stereo can come out there. He's starting third, so I think he can come out here with a dominant win. Oh, that's a big statement. I like it, though. I like different picks. We'll see as the pace cars get ready to drop off here in just one moment. And we'll go green flag. Pace car drops in. The green flag is out. And we're racing here at Richmond for the Red Light Racing Series, Richmond 175. And it is Sean Butler leading them into turn number 1 on the low side. You can see him in the number 88 Nationwide. He's going to clear the 18 at the exit of turn 2 by about 2 car lengths. As we just mentioned a moment ago, Max Terriot looking to the inside of the 18. Now, you want to get to the bottom as quick as you can, Jeff. How can you go honestly about doing that right now if you're this 18 car? He's falling back a little bit. Well, I think early on here, you have to just take care of your stuff, wait till you can get a hole. You might be able to get one here with the 10 behind him if you can try to duck down quick. Doesn't look that'll be happening, but I think for the early part of this race here, you'll see the bottom lane be the place to be, and then I think once we get about 40 or 50 laps on the racetrack, it's going to start moving up, and it's going to have that second or third groove even.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. I didn't even think about that we could actually, the tires and stuff, it actually move up. I don't know how turns 1 and 2 is going to react. 3 and 4 definitely could see a higher line. That's going to be very interesting. As you do see, the 18 looks like he got in line in front of the 51. He actually lost 2 spots on that start of the race, so he goes from 2nd to 4th. Let's jump back a little bit in the field. Let's go back to 9th place. This is Jason Wells and Richard Murdoch, the 64. That green Alienware going to take over the 9th spot from the 01 maybe. Here comes Richard back to the outside. Right in front of him, Keith Haney. Joshua Buckley actually picked up a couple spots already. He's up 3 spots from the drop of the green flag, now up to 7th. Great run for the number 2 car so far. And I'm going to be honest, I know you know Josh as well from spotting in here and stuff like that. You got to be somewhat surprised. He hasn't had a great season like whatever I think a lot of people expected.
No, both him and
DJ
Anderson, yeah. I feel, are 2 people that have had really not up to par from what we've seen from them in the past 2 or 3 seasons. So I'm looking for them to possibly. I know Josh is out of the chase right now. He's been knocked out, but I think DJ possibly can come back here. and try to rally late.
Yeah, right now he's running in the top 5. Well, he just moved into 5th a few moments ago. But DJ, honestly, I think is my biggest surprise of the year as well. From what he did two seasons ago with the championship, and of course last year, I think he actually. Let me check. I believe he finished 2nd. I don't have it up right now, but I believe it was 2nd last season in the championship. I'm pretty sure. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, Joshua Buckley right behind him actually may have he's almost got some of the wall. He did not, but he is on the outside now as Keith Haney's going to go underneath him. Here comes the 64 Jason Wells on the inside as well. And then he may have a hole right behind the 64 if this goes the 2's way. We'll see, though. He's battled that pretty strong on the outside. You actually mentioned the higher line is probably coming into play. You could kind of see it a little bit there. He actually had a momentum coming off the turn, lost it a little bit, but you can kind of see it starting to work itself in.
Yeah, I think a big part of about getting that outside to be worked in is if you're up there, say on a restart, like you were saying earlier, if you're stuck up there, you got to try to pinch that guy on the inside as much as possible, because getting on that apron around here is not going to end out so well if you hit it a little bit. We saw in practice some people spinning out, so if you're on that outside, you want to try to hold on and pinch the guy as much as possible to get clear of them.
I keep mentioning about how great of drivers these are. Whenever you could go to like some of these short tracks or Daytona and you only have these amount of cautions that kind of tell you, but every one of these guys in here has a chance to walk out of here a winner. I don't care if you started last place. I don't care if you started middle. I mean, every one of them is that good. So I'm going to mention that here and there a little bit. By the way, I just noticed that the 86 is 2 laps down in 20th place. I did not know that. That's a pretty big one. James Skelton, he actually comes in here in 5th in points. So that's big.
I think he might have missed the start from what I could see. I think he might have lost something there at the start. He was supposed to start up there in 4th, and I didn't see him on the grid. So
I zoomed in just now, made sure there wasn't no damage. I do not see any damage. So yeah, I think you're right. I think he just missed the start. So we'll see what happens with that. That could be a big loss if he does not recover, which, James always figures out a way to recover somehow, whether it be under caution or something like that. We'll see. Back up towards the middle of the pack, you see Richard Murdoch at 10th. He's up 2 spots from where he started. Then right behind him, you got William Long and Leo Bordes. Leo almost just got into the wall in the number 7 car. Looks like he's going to be okay. I actually want to check on Leo's stats. I forgot. He's had a couple top 5s, I do believe. No, he has not. So 0 top 5s, but he does have 2 top 10s. He actually comes in here 14th in points. So not too great of a season for Leo. I know he's wanting more. A couple of these guys, William Long is another guy. I know he's top 10 in points right now, but I expect a little bit more out of him this season. From where we left off last season, I think everybody expected a little bit more. I know he expected more. So we'll see how he overcomes all this and hopefully finishes the year strong, or the season strong. But it's tough, man, especially when you're racing with these good of guys. It's tough to keep having consistent runs once you race around so many people and how good these guys are. So, of course, you mentioned that you spotted for your brother a couple times, and I mentioned it like 50 times. Kyle Souza, if anybody don't know, he races weekly. How long have you been a part of spotting him for this league?
I've been part of helping him with strategy and helping him with spotting and stuff like that for probably since he started this league and for most of the other series that he does run. Wow. So it's always helpful to have another person on the side of you helping out with strategy and different kind of calls.
Now, I know he's your brother and stuff like that, and of course there's chemistry because of relations and stuff like that, but for people that don't know, how important is that chemistry for a spotter to driver type thing that's going on, family or not? How important is that chemistry compared to the iRacing spotter that you guys have compared to everybody else? How important can that be?
It's extremely important. The iRacing spotter does a pretty good job doing the spotting, but it cannot be beat by a live person that's in there watching it live in, and able to tell exactly when you're clear or not clear, because sometimes that spotter will be a little bit slow on you. So at a place like last week at Talladega, Talladega, Daytona, whatever, at a restrictor plate like that, you really want a real person in there spotting, because if you have a lane that's moving, your spotter isn't going to tell you the outside's getting better, the outside's not good, don't go up there. Only a real person can help you with those kind of things.
We're watching James here and Tim Blum. It looks like James is actually going to make this pass on the outside. You mentioned that higher line could come into play. There it is. You mentioned the inside, outside, and stuff like that, a restrictor plate. In your opinion, what is the toughest thing to spot? Is it a restrictor plate race, or is it trying to calculate the fuel mileage? Because we know we've had a couple of races like that this season.
Well, I think it has to do with there's multiple different things. You got to worry about the race itself, obviously, but then you also have to worry about where the race is.
I don't think spotters get enough credit. I love spotting. That's one of my things. I'm not that great of a race car driver, but I love spotting. That's just my thing. That's what I'm decent at. And on my team, I know that's a big thing for us. I don't think spotters get enough credit, even when a driver goes out and wins. I don't think people understand the fact. I understand this is a sim racing game and stuff like that, or simulator and stuff, but it's still racing. However you look at it, it's still racing. You're just not, paying some seat feel. You don't have none of that, but it's still a race. I don't think spotters get enough credit in some situations, and I know you're a spotter, like you mentioned. Do you feel like real spotters, get overlooked here and there a little bit as well?
Yeah, I definitely think they do, and it's sad because a lot of them are really good, and I listen to the radio for the Sprint Cup Series a lot, and the Monster Cup Energy Series, whatever it's called now.
Yeah, right.
I listen to them a lot now, and you're really able to hear the communication and the connection between most of the spotters. Like Dale Jr. had TJ Majors for a good amount of his career, and they were just so well versed that as soon as TJ said something, Dale Jr. trusted him. Yeah. He didn't question anything.
Yeah, I always think that even in iRacing and real life, I think spotters get overlooked in a lot of situations. Usually you hear about crew chief and then driver, but I do feel like spotters is, I'm going to be honest, my personal opinion, I think spotters is just as important as a crew chief, because that car is in the spotter's hands. The driver can't see it. So that car pretty much is in the spotter's hands, no matter how you look at it. Especially when you've got somebody talented behind the wheel driving that already knows how to race and has the racecraft and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just something out of perspective, a little bit different perspective of what a real spotter could do for the sim compared to an iRacing spotter, because, like you mentioned, iRacing spotter don't tell you what lanes move in and stuff like that, the fuel calculations. So it's always good to have that real spotter, and I don't know if anybody here right now is using one, but it's good to have a spotter actually broadcasted, because it gives the perspective of a spotter and stuff like that. So we're 30 laps in. What is the main thing you're starting to notice so far?
Well, I'm starting to see some people get loose, but I'm also starting to see some people get pretty tight out there. Josh Buckley almost hit the wall a few laps back, and I think he might have just tagged it right there off the turn 4.
Yeah, he does got right rear damage, or right front damage. And actually, he pancaked the whole side of the car. It looks like a lot of damage on the right side. So I'm sure the car's starting to... They know what their car's going to do. Let's be honest. They know what it's going to do now after a few laps. I think he'll get it fixed. He should be okay, because I think they do get one fast repair. But I don't know if he'll use the fast repair yet, since the race is so long. That's one thing else you got to manage. Do you want to use your fast repair now? From your input, would you use the fast repair if you was Joshua Buckley, or would you just take the repair now, since we still are early in this race?
Well, if I was Josh, if I was helping him like I helped my brother, I would definitely not take that fast repair. That damage doesn't look that bad, maybe 15, 20 seconds. So if we get a caution before a pit stop here, you can come down, get it all repaired, and come back out. It doesn't look any... There probably won't be any structural damage, probably just a little bit of cosmetic, so I would not be using that right now. Yeah,
I'm looking at his times. His last lap wasn't horrible, but 22.665. It wasn't bad. We'll check the lap times this time. He's coming around. It's Bruce Potter in the 59 right behind him, 22.759. I mean, you was right about how much the times fall off. I mean, if you go up and look at our leader right now, Sean Butler, actually, His lap times haven't fallen off too much. Yeah, they have over a second. 1.2 seconds they've fallen off so far. 22.4. His best is a 21.2, and that's after 34 laps. So you're so far everything you said pretty much right there. What you expected. We're about 10 laps away from possibly seeing pit stops, 4 tires. But we know if not, we'll definitely see him within. Let's see, they said between 52 and 56 laps on gas. We'll definitely see him here soon, I would expect. So, guys, what we'll do, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Sean Butler leads the way here at Richmond. He's been out front so far for 35 laps. We'll take a quick break. Adam Chapman, Jeff Souza. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back. Sorry about that, guys. iRacing decided to disconnect on me. We are back, though, in here. We're 48 laps into this race. Well, we're on lap 48. And, Jeff, you just noticed something a few moments ago. What was it?
I noticed that Joshua Buckley hit the outside wall pretty hard. His right front's a little bit bent up even more now. But another thing I just realized was Max Terriol has pitted, and he's taken his 4 tires. So around 45, 46, and here come a bunch more cars now.
Yeah, a bunch of cars been on pit road. Keith Haney, James Haney's now on pit road. So we're all waiting to see when Sean Butler's going to pit. Right now, it looks like we got about 6 guys, maybe even more than that. About 9, 10 people so far on pit road, it looks like. Joshua Buckley just hit pit road. So they'll definitely take 4 tires. I'm sure Joshua Buckley's definitely going to be happy. I'm going to be interested to see if he takes the fast repair. Would you take it under green since we still are green?
If I was him, it would depend on how the car is feeling. If he feels like that car is hurting because of the damage, then yes, sir, I would be taking it.
He's got quite a bit of damage after he hit the other one. That right front's beat up pretty good now. It don't look like he's going to take the fast repair. It looks like he's going to sit there and get some of it fixed, it looks like, from what I'm seeing. So, not a bad call, though, I don't think. Because you never know, caution or something could happen. We'll see. So Sean Butler, we expect to be on pit road anytime. He's actually giving up quite a bit of time right now to some of these guys, and actually Tim Blum right now is going underneath him. You can see the difference between fresh tires and old tires. And we should see the 88, I think, possibly hit pit road. No, we won't. James Heater hadn't been on pit road yet. Eric Johnson just hit pit road, it looks like, in the 33. So he's coming down and he'll stop in his box. Everybody else, still, we got 8 guys who have not hit pit road yet. Honestly, wait, Max Terriot was on pit lane. Okay, never mind, 10 seconds. So this actually could work out for Max Terriot, I think, really well. From what I'm guessing.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting almost a second per lap.
Wow.
On Sean Butler, so I know Sean had probably about 3 or 4 seconds on him before they did pit, but I think this is a strategy play by Sean to maybe try to do this with less pit stops than everybody else.
What's interesting is I still feel like this is a 3-stop race, right? Because if he, I guess it depends when he hits, but if he pits here and these other guys, I mean, I still feel like it's a 3-stop race. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I feel like. I do know James Heater just hit pit road, William Long on pit road as well. And they just got into their box, so we'll see. This is actually a lot longer than I expected, I think, to see these guys, or see Sean out there running. I know we was told 52 to 56. This is lap 56. We'll see if Sean Butler comes this time. And it looks like...
Oh, maybe not.
No. Wow.
Still staying out
I'm
there.
surprised by that. Yeah, I'm very surprised by that. DJ Anderson coming to pit road.
I think this is definitely going to hurt Sean here. I don't think he's going to have the lead once we get a whole cycle out here. I definitely agree, because they are just chewing him up right now on the tires. I mean, Max Terriot last lap of 21. Where'd he go? 21.198, and here comes the 88 now down pit road. So yeah, he was gaining about a second a lap on the 88. So we'll see where Terriot shakes up after all this is done. He just went around to get his lap back. And it looks like Joshua Buckley might have brought that thing down the pit road, and he may have parked that thing on the pit road. That's what it looks like, at least.
Sean Butler's just now pulled into his box, and Max Terriot is going to take the lead by quite a bit. Quite a bit. He just now passed him, and we'll see where Sean actually shakes up in all of this. Actually, Sean just got passed by someone else, a couple people. Sean looks like he's going to be back in possibly 5th place, 4th or 5th.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of time you give up on people.
11 seconds.
And
wow.
With Max pitting as early as he did, he gave up probably about at least 8 or 9 seconds, I would say. And now, for the first few laps here, he's going to maybe be a tenth or two faster, or 0.3 faster, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, to get all the way back up there.
Max been out there for 17 laps right now. Will we see him pit before lap 100, you think? Or would you pit, if you was him, would you try to push his to lap 100? I don't know if he can go that far. I'm guessing he can. So, let's see. No, there's no way he could go that far. But would you try to pit, you know, would you try to run this fuel limit all the way out if you're Max, or would you continue to stay on your strategy and pit, you know, around the same time you did the last time?
Well, I think from what I can do quick math in my head here, it looks like if he's on a strategy, he pitted around lap 42, 43. So if he was to go another 43 and another 40, he's not going to be able to make it on that cycle perfect. So I feel like he's going to have to go a few laps later on each of those runs, maybe like 47 laps this run. It looks like we can, most of these guys can make it, I would think, at least 56 there, because that's what Sean went.
Sean went too, yeah. Looks like Terry going to pass William Long, and how about that? We only got 8 guys right now on the lead lap. Well, William Long may not be over. William Long actually got his lap back just now. So 9 guys on the lead lap right now. If caution was to come out, Jason Wells would be your lucky dog for now. He's back there right in front of Brandon Minto. Actually, he just got lapped. So Jason needs to make sure he stays up, you know, close to the leader and stuff, and tries to pass the cars that he passes and all that good stuff. We'll jump back to 4th place to Sean Butler. He is working on Keith Haney. This is for 3rd place. And then you got James Heater about, what, 2nd and a half in front of him, I would guess. So it does look like Sean takes over 3rd place. And now he's sitting 8.6 seconds behind Max Terrill. And, you know, you mentioned a few moments ago, Max going to run probably, you know, 56 laps, we would guess, something like that, 48 and 56, somewhere between there. So he's got about 20 or so, 25 laps or so before we see him on pit road. Who was that down at the wall? Jeff Lepker, I think.
I think that was the 909, maybe?
It was, yeah. Jeff Lepker scrapes the wall coming off. I'm going to be honest, are you kind of surprised? I mean, or is it to this point you're not surprised by anything these guys do? 66 laps in, no cautions right now.
Well, I think we saw a few scary situations there with Josh getting in the wall pretty hard and coming back down the racetrack. Luckily, no one was around him when that happened. Otherwise, he probably would have took a few people with him. And we've seen some people clip that apron enough to get loose, but nobody really completely spin that thing out. So this group of people, they have a lot of respect for each other. They race with each other every week. So I'm expecting clean races every time I watch these guys.
And I think that's a big thing, too. I don't know a lot of guys that don't know this, but when a new person comes in, so if you're out there and you want to race with these guys, it's fine and awesome. But they watch you really close for the first couple races because you're going to have to prove that you can race clean. That's just, and honestly, there needs to be a lot more leagues like this. I'm just going to be honest with you. I know Joshua, he writes me, and from a broadcast standpoint, I tell him what I thought of the driver itself, and he asked me what do I think, blah, 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 this and that. And he's wrote me and told me about drivers plenty of times. So, and these guys have raced together long enough to kind of have an idea what each other's going to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not perfect by any means. They're still going to make mistakes. I mean, that's racing. But, yeah, that's one thing that makes this league really unique compared to all the other leagues that I've been a part of or something like that. They're really strict with it, but I like it. They're not overly strict, though, because they want good racing. I mean, let's be honest, nobody out there wants to see 150 laps cautions. You know? And I've been in that situation. Not none of the leagues we broadcast now, but I've been in that situation where I broadcasted a league, and in a 200-lap race, there was literally 111 caution laps. Nobody wants to watch that, you know. So these guys are doing a good job.
It gets tough sometimes because you want to try to open up a league to everybody, but at the same time, you don't want to open up a league to people who just say, "Well, it's not an official race, so we can go out here and fool around and." Yeah, I can move people, and that's not how this league works. We have short track racing like tonight. I don't expect to see anybody use the bumper that much. From what I've seen helping my brother, we usually don't see that much. So it's respect. That's what the main thing is in this league.
And I think that's what a lot of leagues need. And this league definitely has it. You can tell by talking to all these guys. Every one of them is great people to talk to. I spoke to a lot of them last week before the race, and usually I go up there sometimes and just hang out. And I'll usually listen because I can learn stuff about the broadcast that I can mention in it just by listening to what they're talking about. And they know each other. You can just hear it in their voice of how they race near each other during practice, during qualifying. It don't matter. And they'll help each other out. That's what's good about it. I know you mentioned there a lot of guys come in between league races and official. You know, there ain't no safety rating in here and stuff like that. Me personally, I race harder in league races than I do official. I don't really race a lot of official anymore because I like league races more. That's just where it's at for me. But, you know, I think a lot of new guys don't understand, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus that might want to join the league. A lot of new guys don't understand how much better racing could be if you don't race overly aggressive. It's always good to have a little bit of drama mixed in, but you don't want to overdo it, if that makes sense. There's good drama and bad drama. You know, like I love bump and runs. I love them. That's the good drama. You don't want to see somebody just intentionally get wrecked on purpose. And that's one thing this league does, is everybody does have the respect, like you mentioned in here, compared to everybody else that I've been a part of. There's a lot of respect given. And there's also, you know, times where they get aggressive. But it's not to the point where they're going to kill each other or wreck each other out of the race, or try not to.
Yeah, I know. I talk to my brother a lot about that kind of stuff, and the league racing is really where it's at for a lot of people, because if you can get in a good league with a lot of respectful people, it's not like you get into a race that's official and you're scared about being wrecked or not being fast enough. It doesn't matter. You just come in here and you race and you have fun. And that's the main thing. That's
the main thing. I agree completely. So, anybody wanting to know about Sean Butler, he's only raced 6 races this season. This is 7th. He does have a win. He does have 4 top 5s. There's only been 1 race where he's finished, well, 2 races where he's finished outside the top 5. And I believe it was because of DNF. I will find out for sure what race that was. I'm pretty sure it was, it's been a while. Yeah, back in Atlanta, he won. And I believe he pretty much dominated that race, I believe. Look, how many laps was it he led? I cannot find it. Well, he actually did not dominate. He led 16 laps. But that was the last win that he got, and that was way back on December the 4th. So it's been a while since he's been to victory lane. By the way, I know I mentioned last week, I don't know who I thought I said won. I think I said Max Terriot won. It was actually Richard Murdoch that won last week, by the way, which was an awesome race. If you guys missed it, you can watch it. It's on the YouTube channel. You can watch that. And, yeah, so, you know, like I said, a lot of guys probably didn't expect Richard to win. Yes, it was Daytona. But Murdoch's really good himself. I mean, he's struggling right now, I believe. Like, he's 12th. So keep your eye on him, though. He's always seems to find his way there at the last few laps. Oh, we got a wreck. The 94 and the 01 actually made contact. Wow. And there is damage. No caution flag. Here. And the 94 just came up off the bottom, it looks like. That's a little strange. We don't see that a lot. Let's see if he actually... What happened?
Yeah, I think Kevin was struggling because when the leaders were going by him, he was pushing really hard going into the corner.
That was a weird one. So no caution flag. Does a great job by Murdoch to actually save that. Unfortunately, he's got quite a bit of damage from that, so we'll probably see him if he hasn't used his fast repair, which I don't think he has. He'll get that car fixed. I'm pretty sure it didn't do a ton of damage, but we'll see what happens once he hits pit road. So real fast, Max Terriot, we should see him on pit road here within the next, what was the longest run? We had 56, I believe. So we'll see him on pit road within the next, well, probably now. Never mind. So here comes the 42 down pit road. Are you kind of surprised with him coming down a little bit earlier? He's on lap 42 of that run.
No. That's what he came down the first time, lap 42. So he must have whatever strategy he has mapped out, and he's trying to follow it to a T, it looks.
Yeah, and from what I'm guessing, let's see, I'm trying to figure out when he would have to pit again. Yeah, I mean, he may be able to actually make it on one more stop. Really looking at it, he'll have to pit again probably if he decides to. He could pit at the latest to like 130, I believe. So, I mean, the strategy right now might not be bad for Max. We'll see how that plays out. James Heater out front now. He can go quite a few more laps, about 9, 10. Well, he can go more than that. He can actually go about 20 more laps if he chooses to. So we'll see. All right, we'll take another quick break. We'll be right back right after this from Richmond International Raceway. Out front, James Heater, Sean Butler starting to close back in, and Keith Haney now up to third place.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Welcome back. You're watching Sean Butler as he was 1.9 seconds ahead of this man, the 18 of James Heater, who's up. Well, no, we'll make that 2 seconds now. Going into turn 1, James not having a bad night as he lets the 87 go. It appears, I believe, he came down pit road as Keith Haney. I don't think that's a surprise to see Keith. We kind of mentioned him a little while ago. We'll see how that plays out for him. So, after Max Terriot's pit stop, he is 1 lap down. First one on the lead, or lap down actually. He is sitting in 7th place right now. 1.893 last lap compared to a 22.615 to James Heater. So lap times are definitely in his favor. We'll see if he can work his way back up.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot what we had the first cycle pit stops. Looks like he's going to gain a lot of time here early on in the run after coming off pit road on these guys up in the top 5 or 6. They'll probably stay out another 5 or 6 laps here. And he's probably going to gain another 5 or 7, 8 seconds on these guys. I think he probably had about a 2 or 3 second lead when he did pit. So
yeah, I think it was like 2 seconds, I believe. We was talking during a commercial break about James Skelton. And you see him getting passed right now by Brandon Minto. That is actually 4th position. Brandon, of course, on fresher tires, a little bit fresher tires. So we should see James hit pit road here soon. But anyway, the reason why I'm showing James is because he's in 16th place right now. And we were sitting there talking. We think James may be in a must-win for next week at Auto Club because the points on the website had a mishap on the website or something with the points that they use. So it's supposed to reset after every round. The points are reset to 0. So, if that's the case, James is actually going to go all the way back to last possibility that I'm thinking. in the points, and that's not good. So Auto Club, he's probably in a must-win situation, we would guess. And so that's going to be very interesting come next week at Auto Club, and they are in the Cup card next week, so we'll try to keep an eye on him. And I think we got a pass with Tim Blum. Where did he go? Okay, he's on the pit road. Okay, I see him dropping back. So Jason Wells up to 4th now. DJ Anderson up to 3rd. We're waiting to see when James Heater comes down pit road. If you're Sean Butler, do you continue to run it longer than normal, or would you go ahead and pit here soon?
Well, I think at this point you're pretty much in the place you've put yourself. You're in your bed at this point because it's going to be our second round of pit stops here, and if he comes down a little bit early, I think if he was going to try that strategy that Max is on now, he would have done that early, and
right.
Definitely can pit earlier, but I think at this point you've made your bed and you've pretty much shown all your cards.
Let me ask you this. Max he's good. He's great. I mean, he's a great driver. I don't know if you noticed it, but he's made a big improvement from last season to this season. Have you noticed it as well?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
As he gets by Sean right there, trying to close back in on James to get his lap back. Last season, towards the end of it, we were knocked out already, and I think we went to Talladega or Daytona.
Yeah.
And me and my brother decided we were going to try to help him get through the next round, and it ended up something happening, and I think someone had wrecked.
Talladega happened.
Yeah, pretty much Talladega happened, and I think he ended up making it to the Final Four, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good racer, clean racer, and obviously this season it's showing very well.
Yeah, it's hard for me to sit there and say he's been the racer B. Well, it ain't really hard, but when you look at other guys like James Heater, who's, let's be honest, great. Everybody here knows that. DJ Anderson, another good guy. You know, he has the wins, a very good guy. James Skelton, another really good driver. I think Max, in a way, and I don't mean this towards a shot towards him, from my standpoint, he's undershadowed a little bit. Like, people seem to overlook him. Let's put it that way. He's overlooked a little bit, and I think this year so far has been a statement. Everybody's noticing it. He's good. He's got a really good chance to win this championship, and I think everybody needs to kind of be worried. There's a lot of guys in the league that's overlooked. Max being one of them, was one of them. He's starting to really, put a stamp on a lot of things. Another guy I think that gets a little bit overlooked is Tim Blum, even though he's not had a great race tonight. Tim's a very talented iRacer, let's just be honest. Kyle Souza, your brother, another one I think it gets overlooked a little bit. And I'm not saying that because you're in here. He's a really good racer. William Long is another one. I think he gets overlooked a little bit. But I think the reason why is because when you look at how many wins like James has, DJ, what he can do, we know what he can do. I think it kind of puts some guys at an underdog, and I don't know how you all feel about that. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way or not, but if you get labeled that, does that make you all work harder, you think?
Yeah, I think personally that if that's why we try to run some strategy a lot sometimes where we stay out. Last week I think it was, or the week before. Was Homestead last week? Yeah.
Last week was Daytona.
Okay, the week before that, Homestead.
Yeah, Homestead.
We tried to stay out there and hoping to get a caution. Though my brain, I should know by now, we don't throw that many. But it worked for us last season at Kansas, and I was hoping we had the lead there with like 10 or 15 to go, and I had to pit them because we were going to run out of gas. But we ended up leading like 15. I think we led more laps in Homestead than we had the whole season. So it's a matter of what strategy you go for and how the cautions fall at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, when you only got 2 cautions at Daytona, and y'all was on a different strategy. I noticed it last week. There was two big groups separated by a lot. Looking back on that now, and if I'm not mistaken, you all was in the second group looking at it, I believe so. Would you have changed the strategy at the start of the race compared to what happened, later on? But would you have changed strategy to try to get a little bit better run at the start, possibly? Would you have changed anything?
Well, back to the spotter thing. We were in the very wrong spot going out on turn one. Something happened with Jason Wells and Richard, I think, and we pretty much had to slam the brake, and that's what happened with the two big packs. The top 12 or 13 pretty much drove away, and the rest of us were sitting there by ourselves, and we never really got a caution to bunch everyone up until right there at the end when Kyle got turned. So it's tough decisions.
Yeah,
and
what was it? Yeah, 2 cautions last week for 8 laps at Daytona, and I'm going to be honest, that's... People think Daytona should be a lot easier, or you should only have like 1 caution. To me, that's the hardest track to drive. Any super speedway is, and honestly, it should be easy. But one small mistake in that whole race is done for everybody. But yeah, man, I mean, and there's so much strategy that goes involved in these races. We talked about it a little bit earlier, kind of touched on it some. How early in advance do you all try to prepare? I mean, I know some teams even practice a week before the race, usually the next day, but how early do you start preparing for a spotter? Or do you just kind of come in since you already have that chemistry with your brother?
Well, we usually try to jump in about when practice starts, so we can try to figure out exactly how long we can go on fuel. I sometimes have them just go out there and run it as long as possible to see exactly how far we can go, and then I also have them try to save a little bit here, save a little bit there. At a track like this, it's somewhere I feel like you can save a lot more fuel than a big track, because lift a little bit early getting in, wait a little bit longer getting on it, and you can probably save 5 to 6 laps if you race like that for 25. If you run a little bit fuel mileage race for the first 25 laps of a run, you could be able to make it more, and especially with these cars, the tires hold on a lot better if you're not overdriving, especially into the corner.
Yeah, you know, Kyle's had he's had a good season. I'm sure he's disappointed with some of the finishes he's had because he's ran better, a lot of times better than what his performance shows. Well, he's got 6 top 10s, I think, but he does have 0 top 5s. But all in all, he's right there on the mark of breaking solely into top 5 every week. We've seen it time and time again. And like I said, I'm not mentioning it's just because your brother, it's just because you're in here and you do a spot for him. I think that you can see it, he's getting better every week. You could probably see it better than a lot of people because you spot for him. But I think you all are right on the verge of solidly locking in top 5s every week. I'm sure there's a little bit of changes you all need to make. But all in all, how do you feel like the season is going? I'm sure it's been somewhat disappointing, but all in all, how do you think the season is going for you all?
Well, I think the season's gone pretty good. We're considering we're used to running either the B Open, which obviously the setups, iRacing setups are not that great. Yeah, let's be or running a late model or a super late model. It's a big difference with these fixed setups, especially running the fixed truck, Xfinity, and the Cup car. So
that's true.
It's not his specialty, but we've been able to make changes with the little changes they allow you to make with this fixed setup to try to work into his strong suit and get that thing to handle a little bit better for him.
Yeah, I am glad that iRacing added the brake bias adjustment that you can mess with. I think even on a fixed setup, that's always a good thing. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching him race. He is a good driver. It's fun to watch him race. So we'll see how it works out. I do want to mention that Max Terrott does retake the lead. He's been out there now for 37 laps. He's got a 6.7 second lead over James Heater. And looking back at our early race leader, Sean Butler, who did pit a little bit earlier than normal. He's been out there now for 2 laps, but he led the first 67 laps of this race. And now Max Terrott out front has led 29. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think that's much of a surprise the way this guy's season is going. So, you know, we'll see how it works out come the end of the race. So we got about 123 laps ran so far. As soon as he completes this lap, we'll start 124. So we're just over. How many laps is that left? I don't even know. I can't count that good. Trying to think about fuel mileage. If
we got about 50 to go, and what did you say Sean pitted 3 laps ago?
Sean pitted 4 laps ago now, yeah.
So Sean,
can he make it?
Looks like he's going to be right on the verge of it, I think, because the first pit stop he made was back at lap 57. So
wow.
If he saves maybe a lap or 2 on this long run,
I think you're right, yeah. That
Max,
could be big for him.
Max definitely will have to pit at least one more time.
Yeah, the only other guy that really, even relatively relatively close to Sean as DJ Anderson. He's got 7 laps now. We'll make that 8. And then Jason Wells with 9 once he hits the start line. So, yeah, I mean, Sean Butler, he may have figured something out. Maybe he pre-thought of this all ahead of time. Are you kind of surprised we've been this long green flag, though? I mean, 126 laps at a short track's pretty impressive. I mean, you know, I mentioned it a couple of times about how good these guys are, but are you somewhat impressed? I know you spotted here quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm impressed, but also not surprised,
yeah.
Because these guys, like I said, they're really good racers, and even if they do have a problem, they usually try to make it off the racetrack so they don't throw a caution.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking. I think I'm trying to add up the total of cautions we've had just in the chase, which we've only had 2 chase races so far. This is the 3rd. We've had only, 2 cautions in the last 2 races. That includes Daytona and Homestead. And we can even go back further than that. We'll go back to Indianapolis. Back on January 15th, we had, 0 cautions. So we only had 2 cautions in the last 5 races. These guys, show me another league that does that. I'm sorry, Pete Antifreeze is good. No offense to them guys, but I think we might have them beat a little bit here as far as the yellow goes. Of course, you know, they run more cars and stuff, but very impressive all around for these guys. And there's a mix of I ratings in here. And if you don't know what I rating is, it's basically skill, I guess. The higher, the better, whatever. But there's a mix of I rating. I mean, we got lower I rating, we got high I rating. Everybody in here, you know, knows what they're doing. And if you look at Max, I don't think I rating shows the amount of talent that he has compared to some of these other guys' I rating. Like James Heater just took over the lead, 6,000 I rating. Max has 2,000, and Max has been really good this year. So I don't think I rating is always the big factor to show. Once you know how to drive, you can drive. I don't care who you are.
As you were just mentioning Max there, he is coming down pit road for that final pit stop. So looks like he got into his box pretty cleanly here, and he's going to try to head back out there. And hopefully, from that run we had, I think he had about a 3 or 4 second lead on second. So he's going to have to hope that these guys end up pitting. If Sean Butler is able to make it on fuel the whole way, I want to say that he's going to have a really good chance at getting the victory here.
Yeah, Sean, 13 laps right now. Is there a chance DJ can make this? He's been out there 14 laps, or is that too much?
I feel like the max, even saving fuel, would probably be 60.
Okay.
Unless you're like really lifting off the gas.
That's saving quite a bit.
Right. If you're going to make it 60, you're probably going to lose all the extra time anyway. So,
yeah,
especially someone like Max, who's now going to be going full throttle and trying his hardest.
Yeah, with fresher tires as well. So we'll see how this plays out. All right, guys, we'll take another quick break. This will be our final break, and we'll be back to wrap this one up. So far, James Heater out front by, pretty good margin, 10.916 seconds. We'll just call it even 11 seconds. So we'll be right back right after this.
The yellow flag is out. Pit road is now open. Keep your eye on those gauges. We'll give you 4 tyres. 3, 2, 1, now. We're done. Get going.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook. We are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero. Like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero. Just like in a dream, just like in a dream.
Big wreck happened at Richmond right in front of the leaders. Who was that? I see the 18 was involved with James Heater. That was the 926, I believe. Devin Sanders? You're right there.
Yes, sir.
18. We'll get another look
It
here.
looked like the 920 of
Brandon Minto, I
Minto
believe?
came off the outside wall and got into the fix, and it looks like James Heater and the 33 of
Eric Johnson.
Eric Johnson both got contact in that, so two
Yeah.
of our chasers
Let me
getting pretty
look.
heavy damage.
Johnson actually does have quite a bit of damage. Now, we know he's got his fast repair, I'm sure. So our first caution tonight happens, well, late. And I'm going to be honest, man, I don't know if you see what I'm seeing, but we only got 3 cars on the lead lap. Well, now 4, so we're going to get a lucky dog. Sean Butler, Max Terrell, DJ Anderson all coming up here at road. Wow. A lot of cars. Unfortunately, you know what? I think a lot of these guys are going to get their last back because of the waiver round.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking at, because if you can take a wave round, which would benefit you, but in a way of some of these people, it depends on how many laps have you been out there, and how many laps do you feel like we're going to go? Are we going to have another caution? There's going to be about 25 to go once we get a green flag. So is there a chance you can get another caution, or do you just take the wave around and try to steal as many spots off some people as you can? Looks like we might have 20, we might have 5 on the lead lap here. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, we got a bunch of the cars that was a lap down is actually coming down pit road. So that's interesting.
I would expect James Skeleton to stay out. I would hope he wouldn't pit.
Yeah.
in the position he's in, I don't think tires really matter at this point for him.
And honestly, though, he's going to need a little bit of help, but he's only 2 laps down. He is making up a little bit of time. One thing with that, though, he's actually on the same lap now as Jeff Wupker and Richard Murdoch. He can actually jump up to 12th if he can get around them guys. So, I mean, he is turning up what could have been, let's be honest, a horrible situation into a way better one. Or at least I think he can actually jump in front of them. We got to wait and see what the waiver rounds do, but we'll see how this plays out. So first caution comes out after Brandon Minto gets into the wall, and the 926 of Devin Sanders could not avoid him, and it does collect a little bit of damage on the 33 of Eric Johnson, one of our chase guys. and the 18 of James Heater. And I think James Heater, sadly, is a lap down now. He did take a fast repair, but it looks like, from what I'm seeing, he's a lap down, I think.
Yeah, I think he had pitted just a few laps there before that, and he was trying to claw his way back up, and he was right on the back end of the leaders, I think, before that one happened. So he was both him and Eric were both trying to get back lead lap, and just in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Also,
we warned about that outside wall coming off turn 2, and that was it right there.
I do want to mention Joshua Buckley is back out on track, by the way. I know he's 44 laps down, but he's back out there competing. Whatever, might as well finish it at least. So that's good. I know he was wanting more for this race. So this is going to be interesting because we're going to have about 25 laps to go, I think. When we go back green, if you look so far at your cautions, well, we'll have 24 when we go back green. So far, 6 lead changes, an average lap time of 22.20. That's pretty fast. Just saying, these guys have not had a lot of cautions.
Yeah, so. I think James Skeleton is probably smiling just a tad about that caution because it's going to bring back Jason Wells a little bit to him.
It is.
And it's Richard Murdoch obviously won last week and advanced through.
So 7 cars on the lead lap, with the 33 being the last car on the lead lap, and a green flag back out again here at Richmond. And it is side by side. Now we get to see a real good race between Max Terriot and Sean Butler as we go down into turn 1. And also, by the way, you see that 18, he is a lap down. Keep that in mind. He was just had a start up there. Sean Butler dives to the inside. Still racing. You mentioned that that higher side could play a little bit. He does do a good job of actually being able to squeeze in front of the 51. Max Terriot squeezes in front of DJ Anderson for second place. And now we'll see if Terriot can get the pass on Butler, or will Sean Butler come in here, steal one from the chase. And lately, one of the most dominant drivers, the 42 of Max Terriot, who's been out front quite a bit.
We have problems.
Oh. Let's see if we can find it.
09 looks like he had might have had a little bit of help there going into turn 3.
Yes, sir. It looks like he does. Who was that? The 55, I believe, behind him. James Haney. Was there contact? Yes, there was. Around he goes.
Not sure if he overlooked the corner there just a tad and got into Jeff, but yep, that's the caution that those guys that took the wave around, they wanted to see that caution right there.
That's Richmond.
James Heater will be the lucky ball from this. So
a big break for him. And do you pit here? Like, I know some of these guys that stayed out is going to pit, but would you come back down pit road if you're Sean Butler? Never mind, because they already passed pit road, so I guess I know the answer. I will say William Long down pit road, Tim Blum, Eric Johnson, of course, came down pit road, and looks like them 3 are good to go. So James Heater, your lucky dog. Jason Wells will now be on the bubble. Him and the 7 of Leo Bourdage and Jack Walls will be 1 lap down. Richard Murdoch is 2 laps down, and James Skelton 2 laps down. James has actually rebounded really good. I know he's still 13th, but he's actually has rebounded really good. Cautions breed cautions. Breed cautions. You can see it right now. And this is only our 2nd caution out of 155 laps. I don't think anybody can complain.
Oh, definitely not. This is a bit strategy involved, obviously, with Max's good strategy there to get out, and he let a decent amount of laps there during the fall over after Sean had pitted. But it looks right now maybe Sean's strategy with those cautions might work out for him.
So Keith Haney decided to actually stay out. He's got 16 laps on his tires. You like the call to stay out if you're him, or would you have brought it down? I know he's 4th right now.
I want to say yes. But did he pit under that caution earlier, or did he take the wave by? I think he took the wave by.
Yeah, I think he took the wave around as well. And he's fast too. That's the thing. Like, he's very fast. He's 4th right now, but he's got 16 laps compared to everybody else has 8. And then you got Tim Blum, fresh tires. Him, William Long, and Eric Johnson, fresh tires.
Well, I would think the thing that Keith is probably looking at here is that he pitted around lap 139, it looks, under green, 140. And it looks like he probably ran about 4 laps under green that run, and then another 3 right there.
That's what you're saying.
him getting the wave by the first caution, he only had about 4 or 5 laps.
So it shouldn't be too big of a disadvantage at all. What we would think.
I don't think he's going to have enough to get up there and get by these guys unless something happens, which
it's possibility.
Richmond, you know, there's a chance that something could happen, but
we know that these guys, and honestly, you know, like we mentioned, very clean. We don't really know what's going to happen. You know, 2 cautions really fast. I mean, you never know. So, let you all know right now, your lap leader, Sean Butler, going to lead the most laps tonight with these 85 laps, make that 86 laps now led. Max Terrell at 37, James Heater with 34. That is your lap leaders in the top 5. So, we'll see how this plays out for them as we get ready to go back green. Pace lights are off. So, we'll go back green this time. And we'll see if Terriot can actually use the high line to try to get a run on the outside and make the pass on the 88. This is actually going to be a really fun restart, I think. This could be good. Pace car.
Yes, sir.
Pace car drops in. Green flag. Back out in the air once again at Richmond. We are green. And side by side as we get ready to go down into turn number 1.
Max got a really nice restart right there. See if he can try to hold up on that outside lane. Looks like no, he's going to be able to hold up right there.
I want to mention that Joshua Buckley got into the wall in turn 1 and 2 that time. Looks like it's going to be okay though. Keith Haney not doing a bad job. Looks like the tires are kind of wearing on him just a little bit as Tim Blum now going underneath him. This is for 4th place. And actually, the loose there was the 51.
Yeah, it looked like he might have tried to squeeze Tim down there to try to hold him off, but I think those tires have just lost a lot of the grip now. A few heat cycles under him, so
he's going to need a little bit of help as he actually gives the Ken a bump. What a save by Tim Blum. I will say the 33 gets into the wall behind him. Eric Johnson checks up and actually goes a little wide, gets into the wall. So a little bump put on by Keith Haney onto that 10 car. Mentioned to William Long earlier about how some people kind of overlook him in a way, kind of overshadow a lot of stuff that he can do. He's up to 6th right now, so he's having a really decent run as well. I know he wants inside the top 5, so we'll see if he could get around this 87.
Yeah, I kind of compare him to my brother because it's like you don't see him right up front every week, but you see him just stalking 8th, 7th, 8th, 7th every single week. And if you just get that little bit of a break, you're able to get up there in the top 5 like William is here tonight. Every
time I talk about Kyle, I know William's right there either in front of him or right behind him. They're always near each other somehow. I mean, they race, you know, really close to each other all the time. It's pretty funny that you mentioned that because we mentioned earlier about some of the drivers being overshadowed a little bit by some of the guys that's always out front, you know. But you can see that there's really some good talent in here. So it's kind of funny. I said that now, Williams up to 6th and actually knocking on the door for 5th, so we'll see if he's able to get that. He does got Eric Johnson right behind him. Of course, Eric Johnson really fast all the time. So we'll see how he does. Going into turn 3, he is looking to the inside. And Williams just going to let him have it. It looks like not going to race him too hard. There's the respect thing we was talking about earlier. Racing around guys. And actually, Williams thought he was going to be able to hold it off.
He's going to try, that's for sure. He knows every position matters here. As we can see right behind them, though, Richard and James, that is for position, that battle between the 01 and the 86. And James right now is probably driving as hard as he can out there to try to get that one spot. It looks like as of right now, as they run, he probably is going to be about 4 or 5 points below the cut line, which I think is possible. But he has to go out there and finish.
Have a solid finish, yeah, I agree. So Eric Johnson gets around William Long. It took a minute. Real fast before we get ready to start breaking this down because we got 8 laps left. Who is the toughest driver? I know you spot in here. Who's the toughest driver to pass out of all these guys?
Well, I would say both William and Leo. They're both really, really tough drivers.
Really?
And
William,
I like that.
Yeah, William, you just seen how tough it was, and that's for 6th place. I mean, he's not letting it go easy. And Leo back in 11th right now. So let's jump back up to the front. It is the 88 out front by 3/10 over 2nd place. You see him. And then right behind them in 4th, well, 3rd, DJ and Tim Blum actually knows the tail as well. So we're going to keep it updated on both of them, or update on both of them. We'll see what happens as 6 laps to go now. Last time by, lap time's almost even with a 7.27 and a 7.86 for Terrio. And fastest car on the track right now looks to be our leader as we work off turn 4. 5 laps to go this time by, and it is Sean Butler once again a little bit faster, extended now to 4/10. Let's jump back to 3rd place for now. DJ Anderson. He's been needing a pretty good, solid top 5 recently. He's not had the win yet this season. Hasn't been in the right place at the right time, but right now looking comfortable in 3rd if he can keep the 10 car behind him. We just seen the 10 car not too long ago get a bump from behind and actually almost lose it. Done a really good job of rebounding back from that. And also, we talked about Keith Haney, who's back in 5th place, done a really good job on them tires. He's done a great job on holding inside the top 5.
Yeah, he has done a good job all night long, and it's about people like him who you really don't run the series as much as he probably would like to, but when he does run it, he's able to come out here and showcase how good of a driver he really is.
For 3rd place, Tim Blum trying to take over the 3rd spot. Now remember, Tim does have about 7 laps fresher tires, but he still got to pass DJ Anderson, and that's not too easy to do. DJ goes a little wide this time, and it looks like Tim will make it look a little easy as he does complete the pass and move into the top 3. Oh, DJ.
Yeah, he's going to have a battle here, I think, though. I think DJ might be able to. Oh, maybe not.
Thought he had a run, corner. It looked like he might have had a run for a second. Want to mention up front as the white flag does come out, it is Sean Butler looking to try to lead 104 laps. He's been out front for 103 so far tonight. Coming through turns 3 and turn 4. Sean Butler's going to come in here, steal one from the chase guys, and Max Terriot's going to finish 2nd. Butler wins at Richmond. Whew. Max Terriot finishes 2nd. Let's go back to 3rd. Tim Blum. DJ Anderson 4th. Keith Haney with a great run finishing in 5th. Eric Johnson going to battle back and finish in 6th. William Long, good finish in 7th place. James Heater battles back and spins across the line in 8th. The 64, Jason Wells, will finish in 9th. Jack Walls will finish 10th. Good run for Jack as well. Here's your winner tonight as the fireworks go off in the background. He's going to burn it down here on the straightaway. And the number 88 Nationwide Toyota. Kind of weird to say Nationwide Toyota in the same sentence, but
yeah, well, he's used to celebrating down there at Victory Lane, so
that is true. So as he burns the house that we talked to him earlier in the race, we'll talk to him now as well if I can actually find him. There he is. We will pull him in. Hey, Sean, you got me?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, man, this one wasn't easy. Even though you led 104 laps, you put on a pit strategy, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it would work. Of course, we had to caution there towards the end and stuff that fixed everything, but talk us through your pit strategy, man. You pitted a lot different than some of these other guys.
Yeah, me and my teammates ran some practice earlier in the week, and we knew it would be close on fuel. We knew we'd have to save. I thought I was saving fuel on that first run, and I mean, I barely made it to 57. I was like, uh-oh. So the next run, I was clutching it for 20 laps to get the fuel I needed. And then that last run, I was just taking it nice and easy. I was 5 laps to the good, and Max was never going to catch me. And then that caution come out, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, man, 104 laps led, pretty much dominant all night, let's be honest. 104 laps, not easy to do, especially at Richmond with this type of field. What was the biggest issue you had, man? I mean, was it the tires? Was it just trying to save enough gas?
In the beginning, I was just trying to run as fast as I had to keep Max behind me there, because he was giving me all I could handle. I was trying to keep about a half a second on him, and then he'd close in. So I kept pushing the car a little harder probably than I should have. And like I said, I realized I was out of my fuel strategy at the end of that first run, so I had to make it up on the next run. And,
I'm sorry.
So, I mean, it was just crazy how it was all playing out, and I was surprised I was able to save that much fuel here. I mean, I was letting off in the middle of the straightaways and clutching it into the corners, so it's amazing how much fuel you can save here.
You came in here and you stole one from the Chase guys, which is awesome, by the way. I love that. 7 races.
I'm in the Chase.
Wait, what? I keep looking at the wrong points. Man, these points are all messed up on the thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes.
And I keep forgetting that they're doing that. So this puts you into the next round of the Chase, New Hampshire, and Martinsville. You're one of the favorites. Let's be honest. You got to be one of the favorites, in my opinion. You won back in Atlanta. You come in here and win tonight. You're up there. How do you feel about heading to New Hampshire and Martinsville? We know that's 2 different tracks, but they kind of drive similar to each other. So basically 2 more short tracks, pretty much. Of course, we got Auto Club next week, but we're looking past that. How do you feel about heading into round 3 of them 2 tracks at New Hampshire and Martinsville?
I feel a lot better about New Hampshire just because it is a mile and it's a little bit bigger. Martinsville is one of those places you could be leading, but you're in traffic and get caught up in a wreck. That's nothing that you're doing. It's almost like being in a restrictor plate race where you're just running along and next thing you know you're wrecked. So definitely need to have a solid finish at New Hampshire to get around into the final race at Michigan.
Well, I'm going to be honest. If you could do what you did tonight, I don't think you're going to have much problem getting to Michigan. So congratulations on a huge win, dominant win, and good luck. Next week we got an Auto Club and a Cup car. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My teammates over at Need for Speed, James, DJ, and Josh. We work hard, and I had to really adjust on my steering wheel this week. For some reason my settings were a little off, and it actually paid off this week. So thanks to those guys for helping me out.
Congratulations, Jeff. You have any questions or anything?
I just want to say congrats to you, Sean. And, you know, I was just looking at the stats quick. Fun stat for you. You've only run 7 races this season, counting this week. And the worst finish you've had without really a DNF is a 3rd place finish.
Yeah.
Does that give you confidence that you have a chance to win this championship?
Yeah, I prefer the old method of points racing because I am a consistent runner. I don't win all the time, but I consistently run up in the top 5, and that's the kind of style of racing I do. So having to come out here and try to win these races, I mean, I am pouring sweat right now. My arms are freaking tired, and you have to be up on this wheel to drive it this fast, this hard, and concentrate and not make any mistakes, because those 20 laps here with Max right on my bumper, if I had made one little tiny mistake, it would have cost me the win.
Yeah.
So,
well, man, congratulations. I know that was a big win. So go out there and see what you can do next week, and we'll see you in round 3 for sure.
Yes, sir. I can go for it all next week because I ain't got nothing to worry about.
That's right, man. Good luck, and we'll talk to you then.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy. Next up, let's begin. Max Terriot. Hey, Max, you got me?
Hey, Adam.
Hey, man. 2nd place again tonight. Another consistent finish. Not bad at all. Overall, satisfied with the outcome?
Absolutely. This is not my best track, and starting 3rd, I was really surprised to keep up also with James and Sean, so I'll take 2nd place any day here.
We talked to Sean, and he mentioned earlier that the tires was a big issue for him. What was the biggest issue you faced on your car? Was it trying to figure out the pit strategy as you was running? Was it, the tires, or was it just working around traffic and things like that?
My pit strategy was fine right off the start, so I didn't worry about that. It was more about being consistent with the braking point, especially going into 1. I tried many lines. From one run to the other, I didn't have the same tire wear. Maybe I turned the wheel too much one run, not enough the other. But in the end, it was still a good race for me.
Auto Club next week. It looks like it is in the Cup car, which you're pretty solid in the Cup car. I'll definitely give you that. How do you feel about heading to Auto Club? We know that's a little bit bigger track than what we'll be facing for the next, 3 weeks now. How do you feel about Auto Club in the Cup car, though?
Well, last week I raced there with the B car. I don't like the B car to begin with,
Right.
so I didn't have that good of a race. So I'm a little more looking forward because it's the A car. And who knows, this year, Richmond and Indy, I wasn't expecting such good finishes, and I did, so who knows.
Man, I feel like we talked about you earlier in this race, and I feel like the momentum, honestly, I know Sean won the race, but I feel like a lot of the momentum for the championship is on your side. That's what I feel like. Is that putting any pressure on you, or is there any pressure at all going into these races, knowing that you are, at the moment, you're one of the favorites possibly to get into this championship and have a good chance at winning it? Do you have any pressure going into any of these rounds that we're starting?
Not a pressure, because every race I want a decent finish to begin with, and I want to be consistent all year long. Of course, this is by far my best season of them all, so I hope that I can continue to have the same kind of success until the end, but I don't look forward to a win every week.
Right.
It's probably not the right way to think with this playoff format or whatever, but honestly, I don't really care about that format. So I just want good finishes.
You're the second person to say that in 2 interviews. I just want you to know that. So, Jeff, do you have any questions for him?
Yeah, Max, we noted multiple times on that strategy that you were trying to play, and I personally thought that was the right way to do it, with working with this B car a lot more than some other people, and how the tire model has changed with iRacing. Is that kind of the way you looked at it when you came into the race, working to have the better tires and short pit?
No, I didn't look at the tire wear versus the fuel run. I just knew that I couldn't run 58 laps or around 58 laps. I was short on that, so I just divided like in 4 different runs, 3 pit stop, kept it simple. Because usually on long runs, I can manage my tires. I was maybe a bit more aggressive tonight because I knew I pitted one more time than maybe some others were trying. So I didn't have any concerns about tire wear.
Well, man, good run tonight and finishing second. Definitely a consistent finish. It seems like you're up top 3 every week. Is there any shout-outs or anything like that you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to my friend Max at Maxim Knitting. He happened to have thrown a Super Bowl party yesterday, so that was awesome.
That's right.
And another great race for the guys at RedLight tonight. Only 2 cautions at Richmond. It's always fun to run with it, guys.
That's for sure, man. Congratulations. We'll talk to you next week. Go out there and see if you can get one of these Auto Club.
Yep, have a good night, guys.
You too, buddy. Next up, let's bring in third place, Tim Blood, who finishes third tonight. Hey, Tim, you got me?
Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. At one point, your lowest, you was back in 19th from what I've seen at one point. Finished third tonight, though, and you had to work for this, though. Overall, are you satisfied with third?
Yeah, I'm very satisfied. I had made a lot of mistakes tonight and got bailed out by the caution, and it just kind of lucked out to get third, so I'm real happy.
You know, we talked about you a little bit earlier in this race and noticing how conservative people are, you know, around each other. What was the biggest issue you had with traffic, or was there any issues that you had in traffic? We know there was a couple here and there. We know that you got bumped a little bit on that last restart, but did you have any other major issues in traffic? What was, if any, was the biggest issue you had going into this race tonight?
The issue was everybody was on a different sequence, so you had different speeds on the track at all times. So you'd catch a guy and he'd run low, and you'd go high, and you'd kind of race each other for a lap and a half, and it would slow both of you down. So it was just catching the right guys at the right time.
You finished first a couple weeks ago back at Homestead. We kind of, I want to say it's kind of a similar track. I know it's a little bit different because a little bit smaller or bigger, but Auto Club, we go there next week in the Cup car. How do you feel about heading to Auto Club in the Cup Series?
Got to be honest, I'm not too sure. I don't have a lot of experience at Auto Club, but I love the A car. I think I'm best in that out of all the 3 that we run here, and I'm hoping I can get a good finish and advance.
Yeah, man, and I'm gonna be honest. You're gonna be. I've already got my Final Four pick, and you're in the Final Four. And whether you win or not, that's to be seen. We'll see. So, congratulations on third place tonight, Jeff. Do you have any questions for him?
I just wanted to say congrats on that third place too, Tim. And from watching you, I want to say last season, I think you won your first or second race at Dover, I think it was.
I think so.
And
Yeah, that was it.
Dover or Bristol, one of those. I was sitting there looking at myself, and I was like, man, this guy's a pretty good racer. And we were talking to Adam during the whole race, during the stream, about how good you've been able to adapt to these races and been able to run up faster. Is there anything special you've been able to do to get faster with these guys?
I really like this league. I think I've lucked out because I've been running iRacing since it started. I really like running long runs. I've been practicing in the iRacing series past few years, so I feel like I have some consistency on long runs, and that plays to my strengths in this league because we run so clean and we run so long.
That's actually a very good question and answer as well, because we talked about how clean it was, during the broadcast. So that's pretty awesome, man. So congratulations, third place tonight. Shout outs or anything like that you want to give?
Yeah, just shout out to everybody watching at home, and thanks to Trackside Racing Network for putting it on for us. We'll see y'all next week.
Hey, do what y'all keep doing, man. It's fun to broadcast. So we'll talk to you then, and go try to see if you can win.
Will do. Thanks.
Thanks, man. Jeff, overall, what's your thoughts on the race, man?
I thought this was one of the better races of the season. We've had a lot of really nice ones.
Yeah.
I've been able to watch them from the spotter stand, but watching from the broadcasting booth here, you see a lot more stuff that you usually don't see, and with the strategy, I think, is the biggest thing, because we usually try to work strategy around the short pit, but then you also have to try to work around trying to stretch it. I think this week, Max, you saw what the strategy he ran.
Right.
And I think in the end, if it would have gone completely green, it might have bit him with how Sean ran it and was able to possibly make it to the end. He was saying there he was going to be a few laps to the good. But it's a point of, this is green flag racing. And sometimes the strategy is what really matters. And I think if we would have had the full green flag race, that's what would have ended up making the difference in this one.
You're usually up in a spotter stand. Did you learn anything about any of these guys tonight that you could possibly use for you and your brother that would help you all, you think? Or is it something that you've been in here so long you pretty much know?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of things. I think he'll be racing next week again at Auto Club. So a place like Auto Club, especially with the A car. This tire model, it's been new for probably about a month and a half now, where some people are still trying to figure it out 100%, and I'm still trying to help my brother figure it out 100%, and it's been a point where if you go out there and you run 15 laps and you're already off maybe 6-7 tenths, if you can pit, you got to do those calculations where you can pit this lap, this lap, this lap, and be able to make it on the shortest amount of pit stops while also kind of doing a short pit strategy to gain. Even if it's a second and a half, 2 seconds on some people, in the end, it might matter.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, this race was a mix of, it kind of broke down into 3 parts, I guess you could say, with the pit strategy mainly, because we heard somebody, I think it was Tim, might have mentioned it, there was so many different speeds on track during the entire race. It wasn't, a drop of the green flag. I understand everybody's on even tires and all that stuff. But with all the strategies that came into play tonight, I think it's going to be very interesting. Auto Club might not really have that, but I think it's going to be very interesting once we hit New Hampshire. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of more strategies like we've seen tonight. And honestly, Auto Club eats tires just as bad, so we could see it there too. Just a bigger track. So all in all, man, I thought the race was fantastic. I mean, I always say that every time I broadcast this league, and it continues to be true. So if anybody out there knows me, I'm honest when I come to broadcast leagues. And like I said, You Want to Break, one of the best leagues we broadcast. So, yeah, all in all, not bad at all. That's going to do it, though, for us tonight, guys. I will be live again on Friday. We got a special event broadcasting. You all can see the details. Everybody can get in on that if they choose to. By the way, $20 goes to the winner. I forgot what else there all is. So it's pretty cool. There's like a little thing on the Facebook. Check it out, facebook.com/tracksidetv, and you can get the information. But that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. I hope everybody had a great night, and yeah, have a good one, and God bless, and we'll talk to y'all Friday.